Lil Tim has just dropped a bombshell, and the internet is losing it. In a move that's shaking the hip-hop community, he's revealing receipts that fans say King Von's mom deserves to see. The posts, clips, and alleged evidence have surfaced online, sparking immediate debate about what really went down in Von's final days and who may have misled him. Social media erupted within minutes, with fans dissecting every detail, screenshot, and comment, trying to connect the dots. Some argue this could finally bring clarity to the controversies surrounding Von's death, while others warn it may open old wounds and reignite tensions in O'Block and the broader rap scene. The excitement and speculation are amplified because Lil Tim is a figure with direct ties to Von's circle, meaning these revelations aren't coming from a random source. They carry weight. Fans and insiders alike are saying that if these receipts are authentic, they could reshape the narrative around Von's last days, providing insight into decisions, alliances, and possible deception. The urgency of the situation is palpable, with many demanding that King Von's mother, who has tirelessly sought the truth, finally receives answers. Across Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube, reactions are pouring in. Supporters of Von are urging patience and verification, while critics are speculating about potential motives behind Lil Tim's posts. Every clip and screenshot has become fodder for analysis, with some fans drawing connections to previous events in Von's life, old rivalries, and unresolved conflicts. Questions about loyalty, honesty, and accountability are now dominating discussions, and the pressure is mounting for clarity. This is more than just receipts. It's a potential turning point in the story of one of Chicago's most influential rappers. The stakes are high, emotions are raw, and the public is watching closely. Everyone wants to know what's real, what's manipulated, and what these revelations mean for King Von's legacy. As the community digests the evidence, one thing is clear: Lil Tim's move has set off a firestorm that could redefine the narrative forever. The hip-hop world was shaken to its core when Lil Tim released what many are calling receipts related to King Von, prompting immediate reactions across social media, news outlets, and the streets of O'Block. The revelations, shared in a combination of screenshots, messages, and clips, claim to shed light on events leading up to Von's untimely death. Fans have argued that King Von's mom, who has tirelessly sought clarity and truth for years, deserves to see this evidence. The content shared by Lil Tim has caused a frenzy of speculation, debate, and analysis, with everyone trying to understand the context, the motives, and the authenticity of these revelations. For those close to Von, the information represents a potential turning point, a chance to confirm what many have long suspected or feared. The timing of Lil Tim's posts has intensified their impact. Years after Von's passing, the recordings and screenshots suddenly bring new attention to unresolved questions about loyalty, betrayal, and manipulation in the rapper's life. Social media was immediately flooded with reactions, with Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube becoming hubs for analysis and discussion. Fans dissected every screenshot and message, debating the possible implications and connecting them to previous events and known conflicts within Von's life and O'Block. Commentators and influencers highlighted the potential significance of the receipts, suggesting that they could finally clarify what happened behind the scenes and who may have misled Von. Within O'Block, the response was immediate and intense. Residents and insiders reportedly replayed the evidence multiple times, discussing the credibility and implications of each piece of content. The central focus for many was the phrase circulating online: King Von's mom deserves the truth. For those close to Von, the sentiment resonated deeply. They emphasized that she has been tirelessly advocating for answers about her son's death and that these receipts could either validate her concerns or reveal new angles of deception. Community members expressed a mix of anger, grief, and cautious hope, recognizing the gravity of the situation while also urging verification before jumping to conclusions. Fans were equally polarized in their responses. Some were excited and vocal, claiming the receipts could provide answers long overdue. Others were skeptical, questioning Lil Tim's motives, the authenticity of the materials, and whether the evidence had been manipulated or misrepresented. Social media threads exploded with arguments, theories, and counter-theories, as viewers tried to determine whether these revelations were the final missing pieces in the puzzle or another layer of confusion in an already complex narrative. The intensity of the debate underscored the enduring fascination with King Von's story and the high stakes involved in uncovering the truth. The content of the receipts themselves has not been fully disclosed publicly, but insiders and fans have suggested that they include communications, location details, and conversations involving individuals within Von's inner circle. Analysts argue that the evidence could shed light on who he trusted, what he was told in the days leading up to his death, and whether manipulation or misinformation played a role. Some even speculate that the receipts may provide insight into Oblak dynamics, rivalries, or conflicts that have been obscured until now. Every piece of the evidence is being scrutinized for clues, correlations, and confirmations of long-held suspicions. Lil Tim's decision to release the receipts has also sparked discussion about accountability and ethics. While some argue that transparency is essential and that Von's mother deserves to see any evidence of manipulation or betrayal, others caution that revealing such material publicly can reignite tensions, fuel conspiracy theories, and potentially put individuals at risk. The debate highlights the delicate balance between exposing the truth and managing the consequences of making sensitive information public. By the end of Part 1, it was clear that Lil Tim's move had fundamentally altered the narrative surrounding King Von's death. The release of receipts has reignited conversations about trust, loyalty, and accountability in Oblak, while also engaging fans across the world in a renewed quest for answers. The stakes are higher than ever. Every message, screenshot, and clip is being analyzed, debated, and interpreted as fans, insiders, and Von's family seek to piece together the final chapters of a story that continues to captivate and haunt the hip-hop community. As Lil Tim's receipts began circulating online, the reaction from fans and the hip-hop community grew immense, fueling speculation and debate about King Von's final hours. Social media became a whirlwind of discussion, with threads on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok dissecting every screenshot, clip, and message that had been shared. Fans analyzed timestamps, cross-referenced previous events, and speculated about the authenticity of each piece of evidence. For many, the central question was simple but heavy: who misled Von, and what exactly was hidden from him? The recurring sentiment, "King Von's mom deserves the truth," resonated deeply, creating both urgency and tension around the revelations. This was no longer just fan curiosity. It was a collective demand for answers from someone directly tied to Von's circle. Within Oblak, the impact of the receipts was immediate. Insiders shared that community members replayed the materials repeatedly, analyzing the implications of each conversation, screenshot, or shared clip. Many interpreted the content as confirmation that Von had been misled or manipulated in the days leading up to his death. Discussions centered on loyalty, trust, and accountability, with a heavy emphasis on the responsibilities of those closest to him. Residents expressed both anger and sadness, reflecting on missed opportunities to prevent his death or intervene before events spiraled out of control. For Oblak, the receipts were more than just proof. They were a reflection of the complexities, risks, and dangers of life in the environment Von navigated every day. Fans worldwide engaged in intense speculation as well. Social media feeds were filled with theories connecting the receipts to previous feuds, social media posts, and recorded incidents from Von's career. Influencers and content creators released analysis videos attempting to piece together who may have misled Von and how the information could have influenced his decisions. TikTok clips showed split-screen comparisons of the receipts and past events, while YouTube channels devoted full breakdowns to every screenshot and message. Some fans suggested the evidence could illuminate rivalries or conflicts within Oblak, while others speculated that it revealed deeper deception within Von's inner circle. The community's response reflected not only a desire for truth but also an obsession with reconstructing the narrative surrounding Von's last days. The release of the receipts also sparked ethical debates. Some fans and commentators questioned whether Lil Tim had the right to make these private communications public, emphasizing that while Von's mother deserved the truth, the release could inflame tensions, fuel conspiracy theories, or endanger individuals mentioned in the material. Others argued that transparency was necessary, claiming that Von's mother, his family, and the community needed access to the evidence to understand the full scope of what happened. The debate highlighted a broader challenge in modern hip-hop culture, balancing the public's right to know with the potential consequences of sharing sensitive material. Inside O'Block, the receipts were treated as both a revelation and a warning. Insiders suggested that Von had been aware of manipulation and deception, but may have been misled about the severity or motives of those involved. Residents noted that the content underscored the importance of loyalty and vigilance, particularly in environments where trust is fragile and misinformation can escalate quickly. The recordings and screenshots reinforced Von's reputation as someone perceptive and intelligent, aware of threats even when others attempted to conceal them. For many, the receipts were proof that Von had been navigating a web of deceit before his death, a reality that intensified grief but also highlighted his strategic awareness. Social media reactions reflected a wide spectrum of emotions, from anger to hope. Fans argued over whether the receipts would finally provide closure for King Von's mother, while others debated their potential consequences for O'Block dynamics. Conspiracy theories began circulating, with some suggesting that individuals within Von's circle may have intentionally misled him for personal gain or safety. Others emphasized the complexity of street politics and the risks of miscommunication in high-stakes environments. Regardless of perspective, the receipts reignited discussions about accountability, truth, and the pressures faced by young artists navigating fame, loyalty, and danger simultaneously. As Part 2 comes to a close, it's clear that Lil Tim's release of the receipts has shifted the narrative surrounding King Von's death. Fans, O'Block insiders, and the broader hip-hop community are now engaged in a relentless search for clarity, piecing together events, alliances, and decisions from the scattered evidence. The recurring message, that Von's mother deserves the truth, has become both a moral imperative and a rallying cry. The receipts are no longer just content. They are a symbol of unresolved questions, the need for transparency, and the ongoing quest to understand the tragic final chapter in the life of one of Chicago's most influential young rappers. As Lil Tim's receipts continued circulating, the discussions about King Von intensified, moving beyond O'Block and spilling into mainstream hip-hop conversations. Fans across the globe were dissecting every detail, attempting to connect the dots between the evidence and known events in Von's life. Social media platforms were flooded with theories, breakdowns, and speculation videos, each offering a new interpretation of the receipts. Many fans argue that the material could finally reveal what truly happened in Von's final days, exposing manipulation, misinformation, or betrayal that had previously been obscured. The line repeated across posts, "King Von's mom deserves the truth," became both a rallying cry and a moral imperative for those following the story. Within O'Block, the reception of the receipts was highly emotional. Residents and associates of Von reportedly spent countless hours reviewing the messages and screenshots, analyzing context, tone, and timing. For many, the receipts confirmed suspicions they had long harbored. Von had been misled or deceived by people he trusted. The content prompted intense conversations about loyalty, accountability, and responsibility, highlighting how critical trust was in the environment Von lived in. While grief remained a constant undercurrent, the receipts also gave some a sense of clarity, proof that his concerns were not unfounded. In a community so tightly knit, these revelations acted as a reminder of the risks and dangers inherent in street politics and personal alliances. Fans online were equally engaged, producing analysis that dissected every word and connection in the receipts. On Twitter, threads documented comparisons between the receipts and past interactions, social media posts, and public feuds. TikTok users created split-screen videos juxtaposing screenshots with previously recorded events, aiming to uncover hidden narratives. YouTube channels dedicated hours to exploring each message, speculating on its meaning and the people involved. Some suggested that the evidence could shine light on rivalries that had been simmering in the background for years, while others argued that the receipts indicated miscommunication within Von's inner circle rather than intentional betrayal. The variety of interpretations emphasized just how layered and complex the situation had become. The release of the receipts also raised questions about motives and ethics. Many fans debated whether Lil Tim had acted out of a sense of justice, loyalty to Von, or personal gain. Others cautioned about the consequences of publicizing sensitive material, warning that it could reignite old tensions, fuel conspiracy theories, or even endanger certain individuals mentioned in the content. Despite these concerns, a large portion of the community agreed that transparency was crucial, particularly for Von's mother, who had been tirelessly seeking clarity for years. The moral responsibility to deliver the truth to her became a central theme in discussions across platforms. Within Oblock, the recordings and screenshots were treated as more than evidence. They were a reflection of the realities Von had been navigating. Insiders emphasized that Von's awareness of deception and manipulation highlighted his perceptiveness and intelligence. Even as he faced pressures from rivals, allies, and the media, he had maintained a keen understanding of his environment. The receipts served as proof that Von had been cautious and alert, aware of potential betrayals and misrepresentation in ways that many outsiders might not have understood. This deeper perspective added nuance to the public's understanding of his life and decisions in his final hours. The broader hip-hop community quickly picked up on the story. Influencers, artists, and commentators began discussing the implications of the receipts on Von's legacy. Many agreed that the material could reshape public perception, showing not just a talented rapper but a young man navigating complex social and street dynamics with intelligence and caution. Social media debates focused on whether the evidence would change the narrative around his death or confirm what fans already suspected. Analysts noted that the receipts illuminated the pressures of trust, loyalty, and decision-making in Von's world, underscoring the risks he faced while building his career and navigating personal relationships. As discussions progressed, conspiracy theories began emerging. Fans speculated about potential motivations for misleading Von, whether within his inner circle or from rival factions. Some theorized that the evidence could implicate specific individuals who played roles in misrepresenting events or withholding information. Others suggested that miscommunication, rather than intentional betrayal, had contributed to the confusion surrounding his final hours. Regardless of the theory, the receipts had sparked an unprecedented level of scrutiny and engagement, turning the story into a multi-layered investigation led by fans, insiders, and the broader hip-hop community. By the end of Part 3, it was clear that Lil Tim's release of the receipts had transformed the narrative surrounding King Von's death. What was once a tragic story with unanswered questions had now become a complex puzzle, demanding careful analysis, interpretation, and reflection. Fans, Oblock insiders, and the hip-hop community were united in their pursuit of clarity, seeking to understand the motives, consequences, and truths hidden within the receipts. The line "King Von's mom deserves the truth" had become more than a hashtag. It was a call to action, a reminder that the search for answers, accountability, and justice was far from over, and that every revelation brought the community one step closer to uncovering the reality behind Von's final days. As Lil Tim's receipts continued to circulate, the tension surrounding King Von's story escalated to new levels. Social media was ablaze with debate, analysis, and speculation. Twitter thread dissected every screenshot and message, while TikTok creators produced endless commentary videos attempting to piece together the context of Von's final days. YouTube channels devoted entire episodes to analyzing the receipts, speculating about alliances, betrayals, and miscommunications that may have shaped the events leading to his death. For many fans, the phrase "King Von's mom deserves the truth" became a mantra, a moral call to uncover the hidden details and deliver clarity to a mother who had long been searching for answers. Inside Oblock, the release of the receipts sparked heated discussions. Residents and Von's closest associates reportedly listened to every clip repeatedly, scrutinizing tone, content, and timing. Many felt vindicated in their suspicions that Von had been misled by people he trusted, though the specifics were still murky. Community members discussed the implications of the evidence, debating how to protect the integrity of the information while also ensuring that the truth reached Von's mother. Emotions ran high, anger, grief, and frustration mixed with a renewed sense of urgency to uncover what had happened behind the scenes. For those closest to Von, the receipts were more than just evidence. They were a reflection of the complex realities of street politics, trust, and deception that Von had navigated in his final hours. Fans online were equally engaged. Social media platforms erupted with analysis, memes, and speculation. Some users suggested the receipts could finally confirm who misled Von, while others warned that the evidence might only complicate the narrative. The conversation was dominated by questions about loyalty, trust, and accountability, with fans dissecting every minor detail for clues. Influencers and content creators amplified the discussion, producing videos connecting the receipts to past incidents, previous feuds, and public statements. Across platforms, the debate highlighted the enduring fascination with King Von's story and the desire for clarity in a narrative filled with unresolved mysteries. The release also raised ethical questions. While many agreed that transparency was crucial, especially for Von's mother, others worried that publicly sharing sensitive material could reignite conflicts or fuel conspiracy theories. Some fans debated whether Lil Tim's motives were purely to reveal the truth or if personal gain played a role. Despite these concerns, the majority of discussions focused on the importance of delivering answers to King Von's family, particularly his mother, who had long sought closure. The receipts were treated not just as evidence but as a responsibility, a way to honor Von's memory by confronting the deception and manipulation that may have surrounded his life. Within Oblak, the evidence also triggered reflection on the realities of loyalty and street politics. Insiders emphasized that Von had been perceptive, aware of manipulation and deception even as he navigated high-stakes situations. The receipts highlighted not only the threats and misinformation he faced but also his intelligence and vigilance in responding to them. For community members, the content served as both a lesson and a warning that trust must be owned, loyalty must be verified, and the consequences of deception can be fatal. The recordings and screenshots reinforced Von's legacy as someone who understood the world he lived in and the people around him better than many realized. The broader hip-hop community weighed in as well. Analysts, journalists, and fellow artists debated the implications of the receipts, connecting the dots to past controversies, feuds, and public disputes. Some argued that the evidence could reshape public understanding of Von's final days, while others emphasized that misinterpretation could exacerbate tensions. Social media campaigns and hashtags pushed for transparency and accountability, with many urging that Von's mother finally be given access to all relevant information. The ripple effect of Lil Tim's revelation was undeniable. Fans and insiders alike were demanding clarity, accountability, and justice. By the end of Part 4, it was clear that Lil Tim's release of the receipts had created a turning point in the narrative surrounding King Von's death. Social media, Oblak, and the broader hip-hop community were now fully invested in uncovering the truth. The evidence had sparked debate, reflection, and speculation at every level, creating a heightened sense of urgency around the questions of loyalty, trust, and accountability. Every screenshot, message, and clip had become a piece of a larger puzzle, pushing fans and insiders alike to dig deeper and search for the answers that Von's mother and the world had been waiting for. As the controversy surrounding Lil Tim's receipts reached its peak, the narrative around King Von's life and final days entered a new phase of intensity. Fans, Oblak insiders, and the broader hip-hop community were all locked in, analyzing every detail, cross-referencing past events, and debating the motives behind both the receipts and those implicated in them. Social media became a storm of discussion, with Twitter threads stretching for thousands of replies, TikTok breakdowns dissecting each screenshot, and YouTube channels posting in-depth analyses connecting the evidence to Von's known rivalries, alliances, and conflicts. Every comment, every repost, and every theory amplified the conversation, creating a sense that the story of King Von's final hours was far from settled. Within Oblak, the receipts prompted a mixture of reflection, outrage, and action. Residents reportedly convened in private discussions, weighing the evidence and determining how best to approach the situation. Many agreed that the focus should remain on accountability, transparency, and ensuring that King Von's mother received the truth she had long been seeking. The content confirmed what some insiders had suspected for years. Von had been misled, manipulated, or misinformed by individuals he trusted. This revelation intensified feelings of betrayal and grief, but also inspired renewed determination to honor Von's memory and protect others from experiencing similar deceptions. For Oblak, the receipts were not just information. They were a call to action, reinforcing the values of loyalty, awareness, and vigilance in a high-stakes environment. Fans across the world engaged in non-stop speculation. Some theorized that the receipts exposed hidden rivalries or internal conflicts that contributed to Von's death, while others suggested they revealed miscommunication that had escalated into tragedy. The online conversation became a mixture of investigation, analysis, and emotional reaction, with viewers attempting to connect the evidence to known events, social media posts, and public statements. Influencers and content creators dissected the receipts line by line, highlighting possible motives, hidden alliances, and potential deception. Each new post, each shared screenshot, and each reaction video contributed to a growing narrative, intensifying interest in Von's final days and the people surrounding him. The ethical implications of Lil Tim's release also became a major topic of discussion. Fans debated whether making these receipts public was appropriate, questioning the potential consequences for those mentioned and for Oblak as a community. Critics warned that publicizing such sensitive material could reignite old tensions, create conspiracy theories, and even put individuals at risk. Supporters, however, argued that transparency was essential, particularly for Von's mother, who had been seeking the truth for years. They emphasized that accountability and clarity outweighed the risks of controversy, framing Lil Tim's decision as a step toward justice and revelation. The receipts also prompted reflection on King Von's personal awareness and street intelligence. Oblak insiders emphasized that the young rapper had navigated complex social dynamics and rivalries with a keen understanding of human behavior. The evidence reinforced the idea that Von was perceptive, cautious, and deeply aware of the deception and manipulation surrounding him. This understanding shed new light on his choices, responses, and interactions in the days leading up to his death, giving fans a more nuanced perspective of his character beyond his public persona. The broader hip-hop community reacted with both caution and curiosity. Analysts, artists, and commentators debated the significance of the receipts, connecting them to Von's past feuds, decisions, and relationships. Social media campaigns and hashtags demanding clarity and accountability grew in popularity, with fans united in their insistence that Von's mother be given access to the evidence. As speculation and analysis continued to intensify, it became clear that Lil Tim's actions had not only reignited the story but had also reshaped the conversation around Von's legacy, trust, and the consequences of deception in the hip-hop world. By the end of Part 5, it was clear that Lil Tim's release of the receipts had permanently altered the narrative surrounding King Von's death. The combination of fan speculation, Oblak reactions, and broader media coverage created a heightened sense of urgency around the pursuit of truth and accountability. Every screenshot, clip, and message had become a vital piece of the puzzle, guiding the community in its ongoing quest to understand the circumstances surrounding Von's final days. The story had moved from tragedy to investigation, from grief to clarity, and from speculation to action. One thing was certain: Lil Tim's revelations had set a new precedent, forcing the hip-hop community and Von's closest circle to confront uncomfortable truths, honor his memory, and demand answers that had long been overdue. The receipts are out, the debates are raging, and the questions keep piling up. Who misled King Von, and what really happened in his final days? Fans everywhere are demanding answers, and the most important person of all, King Von's mom, deserves the truth. Lil Tim's revelations have shaken Oblak, the hip-hop community, and social media, but the story isn't over. Every screenshot, clip, and message is a piece of the puzzle, and the search for clarity is only intensifying. If you want to stay on top of every new development, every reaction, and every hidden detail, you need to be part of this journey. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, And join the conversation as we break down Lil Tim's receipts, Oblok's response, and the explosive truths about King Von's last days. Don't miss a single update. This is the story everyone's talking about, and the answers could change everything.